My life began in a prison cell in Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. It was a culmination of years of anger and racial hatred. Although I'd grown up in a Christian home, by the time I reached prison, I had fully embraced radical Islam, where my adopted name was Balandu Muhudari. Islam at the time kind of confirmed and affirmed all of my anger and racial hatred at the time. Part of my anger had to do with my father and lack of relationship. I grew up the second of 7 kids, and as a second oldest kid in the family, among the 7, I learned to kind of tussle and fight and handle conflicts in a not so healthy way early on, and that kind of mentality led me to attempting to kill a chief warrant officer who had touched me as a young Marine in Beaufort, South Carolina. Part of the anger had to do with my dad, because I thought he was the most worthless man in the world. Never came to any sporting events we were involved in, never in the activities involved in. He was just a hardworking man who had no relationship with me. So that was part of my anger. But after becoming the Lord in prison, God opened my eyes to some things, and I started writing him these books, expressing all of my anger and all the faults I thought he had, on and on. And he finally, after probably a few letters, responded with one small sheet from a stationery where it had maybe 4 lines on it. And I was absolutely enraged that he didn't think enough to respond to all of my concerns. When I got my phone privileges and called home, and was speaking to my mom, and I started venting to her how angry I was with my father for not thinking enough to respond to my letter with that one little thing. And my mother, being a strong Christian woman who had prayed for me for years, rebuked me. And she reminded me that the anger I felt and the hatred there was the prison that I was trapped in. But God used that to really change my heart. One day in the prison, they had, for the first time, they were going to allow civilians to come inside the wall. Some guy named Bill Glass and some other volunteers. But I didn't care, because it was a bunch of swines and I didn't want to hear a bunch of white folks. However, they did have this 9th degree karate black belt. I was thrilled, did an amazing job. But then he started talking about Jesus, and we decided, I'm out of here. So we got down, started walking out toward the entrance of the prison. There was some little guy who looked like he was 15 years old standing by the wall. And the next thing I know, this white kid's following us, saying something. I didn't pay attention to him, had no idea what he was saying. But by the time we got to the end of this entrance, the guard had us sit on the bench so they could watch us at the time. He kept talking, and I kept trying to figure out a way to get back to my unit, to my black friends wouldn't see me talking to this swine. And he's out of the clear blue, he says, you want to pray? I said, man, you can pray if you want to, go ahead. He prayed, and I have no clue to this day what he said or what he prayed. But miraculously, God used that moment a couple of days later to start me thinking about this whole God thing. So in the midst of my anger and my headaches and my rage and all the pain I was involved in, I sat on my bunk in the cell, and I said, God, look, if you're real, get my head straight. I fell asleep, first time in a long time. Woke up a couple hours later, got something to eat, and came back, and I was free of my hatred, free of the rage. The pain was gone. I felt great, and so I said, God, look here, man. You keep doing this for me. You keep my head straight like this. You can have anything I got. My very last breath if you wanted it. Because I knew at the moment that anybody could do that, could have anything I got. That began my journey with the Lord. And it's been an amazing journey since then. I went on to renounce my Islamic name and my Islamic association, started following, reading the scripture and learning and growing in the Lord, and watched God do a marvelous work in my life throughout the years. My life verse is Joshua 1:8. Let not this book of the law depart from your mouth, but meditate on it day and night, being careful to do all that's written in it, and then you will have great success. God redeemed my life. He has given me great success. He's given me a wonderful wife, 3 amazing children, and 3 amazing grandbabies as a result of that. He called me into the ministry, giving me a ministry to men. 23 years in prison ministry, 18 years in aftercare, working with men after they leave prison. God has continued to use my life. And my dad and I decided from that point that I would pursue a relationship with my father and started writing. And my dad and my relationship has never been the same since. He's 84 years old now, and every time we talk, or every time we see each other, we always make sure we say we love you. And each time I see him, we hug each other. And to this very day, it is still a rich relationship, all because of what God did.